How did we get here, you might ask yourself if you're new to the channel? I'll give you the short version, and that starts with a discussion on the early version of Going In Raw, which led to a trailer reaction, and here we are 77 grueling videos later, hundreds and hundreds of hours of production time, thousands of screen captured still photos and video clips, hundreds of scissor and the lesbian gifs, and about 1,000 hours of psychotherapy for me. And that brings us exactly to this point in history, with me reviewing possibly the worst television show I have ever seen. Caroline Dries still hasn't blocked me on Twitter, which leads me to believe that she secretly watches my reviews, only because I tag her in tweets, and fantasizes about me, even though she's a lesbian. Probably because she has some weird Sinead O'Connor fetish or something. But I'm not one to kink shame unless you're a furry, in which case I'll throw you into a chamber of fire. But I digress. Where are my manners? You've all come for the main event, and you're here watching the dark matches being taped at the house show, after a mid-season break that seemed like it took forever. Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly submit for your approval my review of Season 3, Episode 8, True Destiny. Enjoy. We start out in a flashback from 10 years prior with Officer Renee Montoya and her milquetoast, replaceable, disposable white male partner. And Bridget Regan shows up as Poison Ivy, Pamela Isley, and murders Montoya's partner. Well, she doesn't kill him. She tries to murder him immediately. And they automatically imply by the horribly written dialogue that these two are, that's right, folks, we're not wasting any time. Strike up the band. Let the choir sing. Can I get a witness from the congregation? The lesbian! Montoya pleads with Isley, why are you doing this? And Isley responds,
because somebody has to care.
Just like that, Isley slips away and we see Montoya tending to generic white male cop who no one cares if he lives or dies because he's a white male in this diverse Gotham, baby. So let's roll the credits and get this lesbian party started.
I was a little frustrated. Batwoman, that's just a car. Somebody's watching this show. That like really annoyed me. Batwoman is still doing quite well. It doesn't even look like Batwoman.
Peter, I'm really starting to question why I'm even friends with you in the first place.
Move to present-day Gotham, and Mary and Alice are holed up in the hotel, well, a luxury suite to be exact, and having a sister's day. And they're getting kicked out of this aforementioned suite for racking up about an $8,000 tab. Neither of them has any money. Mary's money's all tied up. When the evil white hotel manager demands they leave, Mary pulls the Poison Ivy eyes on him and makes him agree to bring her a complimentary bottle of Dom for the inconvenience while she figures everything out because, as he said, all of her credit cards have been declined. Probably because even though she's the heiress to $1 billion research and development firm, the fact she's absconded with an escaped serial killer caused the folks who control the finances to somehow manage and cut her off, aka Cuck Fox. I'm shocked Alice didn't just kill the three guys, because Whitey McWhite Guy brought 2 hulking security officers with him, which usually means they're about to perish at the hands of a 5'1", 105-pound female who couldn't break a cotton ball. But alas, they've been spared. Mary then goes off on a tangent about Luke and Ryan not paying attention to her. Alice says, kill them immediately, and then tells her that if she makes Ryan and Luke not care about her enough, they'll give up on her. When we know this won't happen because the plot won't allow it to, because she's not a white character, aka the stepfather Jacob Kane. To his credit, Gray Scott got the hell out of Gotham. We're taken to Mary's lab, and Montoya enters and sees a tulip. And of course, a flashback ensues to Bridget Regan's Pamela Isley presenting her girlfriend Montoya, the lesbian, with tulips because she feels badly about almost murdering her generic white male partner who nobody cared if he lived or dies, who only lost a kidney in the Vine assault. But nobody cares again because he's a pale, stale male. The flashback covers Isley's heel turn and their breakup, and of course, our not-so-clever blue checkmark idiot writers sneak in some climate change dialogue, which plays into Isley's character, Poison Ivy.
Yada, yada, yada.
I don't know if anybody else noticed this really quick, but have you guys noticed how skinny the actress Victoria Cartagena is that plays Renee Montoya? I mean, she looks like a child wearing adult's clothes in this police uniform. It is freaking hilarious. Can they get an actual woman on this show that's over 80 pounds? Especially if we're supposed to buy her being tough? We finally join Cuck Fox, who says he froze all Mary's bank accounts. Well, I guess it answers that question from earlier, doesn't it? As Ryan, Sophie, and Luke are all in Montoya's office. Montoya lays into Ryan, which is always great to see because she's a fucking idiot, about her not arresting Marquise, pronounced Marcus because he's fucking stupid, and not taking out Mary when she had the chance to. And of course, Ryan makes excuses because nothing can ever be this dumb bitch's fault. She's infallible because she checks more boxes than almost anyone. I mean, they'd have to introduce a transformer to usurp her place in the victim hierarchy. Ryan whines, and then Sophie says she agrees with Montoya, and they need to take a harder stance against Mary and Marquise, pronounced Marcus, because he's fucking stupid. Ryan then counters with an epic piece of dialogue that only the hack checkmark land whale writers at the CW could come up with, and says,
Pummel Mary with batarangs? Let them throw Marcus and Arkham because you're sleeping with her?
The lesbian!
Well, they had to have someone for Sophie to scissor with. It's not like there's any other reason for her to still be in this goddamn shit show, aside from her being a whore. Montoya tries to appeal to Ryan's better sense by telling her about selling out Pam to Batman, and explains there's a magical MacGuffin serum that dehydrates plants but doesn't kill them. So now these morons are going to try to find Pamela to get the serum to use on Mary. In the process, they run the risk of unleashing Pamela. And in the process, Montoya learns that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Fuck me, right?
Marcus calls Ryan, and they go back and forth about how he's fucking crazy and should be in Arkham, but she had him kidnapped, and that's illegal. And he's redecorating his new office at Wayne Enterprises. He wanted to thank her because she awakened something in him, and he steps out onto lesbian balcony, and clad in a jacket that would make a hair metal singer in 1988 blush, he yells,
Marcus Chen is coming for you, Gotham!
Fuck that puto!
and tells her.
You'll be hearing from me soon.
Ryan tells Sophie that Black Joker's throwing a party at Wayne Enterprises tonight, and we're gonna crash it. Because the people who Marcus has probably informed his security to watch out for are just gonna sneak right in, because the party has everyone wearing masks. Only the kind that you cover your eyes and nose with. So, unless you're Helen fucking Keller, you'd easily be able to recognize the Bat Team attempting to infiltrate the soiree. Unless you're a brain-damaged, retarded Black Joker who spells Marcus as Marquise, in which case you probably won't notice a thing because the plot says you don't and you're fucking retarded.
I'm retarded.
So at the Black Joker party at Wayne Enterprises, our trio of morons are going over fake identities, which are absolutely fucking ridiculous, especially Luke, who's masquerading as a former professional athlete who's looking to buy the Gotham Knights.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Sophie is heiress to a whiskey fortune, a world traveler, and a massive fucking whore. And Ryan is a board game mogul who happens to be French? So they all receive playing cards upon entry, and this is beautiful. Caroline tries, you're such a racist cow and you don't even realize it, because they give Ryan the Queen of Spades. I don't even need to say it, but Black Joker takes center stage, remove his mask, and starts spewing idiotic dialogue that only the troglodyte writers from the CW, under the guise of Caroline Dries, could concoct. He's using the party to recruit his new employees by the cards they were handed upon entry. The first card chosen sees their contestant get electrocuted once he answers incorrectly. Ryan goes up after swapping out a card with another contestant. I'm surprised she gave up her Queen of Spades. And Ryan gets her retinal scan. Sophie collects a thumbprint. And Luke bugged the Black Joker's gay Asian assistant's tablet. In the elevator, Ryan and Montoya are arguing over everything because they're both lesbians and they just need to.
Oh, we're scissoring!
Next comes our first hilarious fight sequence with our well-trained, overly accommodating 250-pound muscular stuntmen getting pummeled by 105-pound women because men are trash and lesbians rule.
We're the cleaning ladies. You get your bitch ass back in the kitchen!
As the men attack one at a time and are dispatched by these aforementioned 100-pound lesbians.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Ryan opens the elevator and then the trio descends to the Batcave after mopping the floor with all these useless men. This fight scene was as bad as Birds of Prey, Charlie's Angels 2019, Terminator Dark Fate, The 355.
2 hours later.
I mean, the underground network of henchmen in Gotham has to have some kind of union, and you'd think under their collective bargaining agreement there'd be some kind of provision to provide better training on how to defeat a 100-pound lesbian. If not, their union is basically worthless. Who would pay dues to that union? Nobody. That's who. They should go on strike. There's got to be thousands of them. But we all know a singular paperweight female could easily dispatch the entire lot of them at once and force them back to subservience because logic doesn't apply in Gotham. We cut back upstairs to the party and see Asian Ivy entering and says,
Let's have some funsies!
Luke radios the Lesbicano trio and tells them that Mary is there, and she walks right up to Black Joker and he hits on her and she calls him
Mr. C.E. Bro?
She asks him to dance, and we have our diverse villain couple in the making, which we know won't last long because Bridget Regan's Pamela Isley is around now, but I honestly don't think that they'll be using her in the present-day timeline that much because they won't take agency away from an Asian actress in favor of a white redhead, especially when we all know about the ongoing ginger side in Hollywood. Admittedly, I'm shocked they chose to make Mary Poison Ivy on one hand, but on the other one I'm not. Because with Jacob and Kate gone, what else is there for her character to do? They're not going to put her into a heteronormative cisgender relationship with Cuck Fox, even though it would serve as a checkbox for the show to have an interracial relationship again. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think interracial relationships are woke, I just think the way the CW would handle it and how ham-fisted they would make the entire situation would be what made it woke. Don't you remember Alice, an unassuming, non-threatening beta male ocean man?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Asians are white adjacent, so it really doesn't count if she hooks up with a black guy, because then it's not Super Saiyan diversity points.
Stupid American!
It's just regular old interracial couple stuff, and when it comes to the woke meter, that just isn't enough to move the needle anymore. Before we move on any further into the affairs of 100-pound lesbians and Asian Ivy,
Scissor me timber!
let's talk about Marquise, pronounced Marcus because he's fucking stupid, aka Black Joker. I don't know if I've ever seen this actor in anything else before this role in Batwoman, and I don't care enough to look up his IMDb because he's as relevant as my ex in the grand scheme of things. But for purposes of this review, we'll discuss him for a moment. The fact that Caroline Dries, our mentally stunted showrunner who has systematically ruined every piece of the mythos that her and her activist blue checkmark writers have touched, including every imitation member of Batman's rogues gallery, has made their way onto the show. And Black Joker is no exception to that precedent. Look at a few of the titans who have portrayed the clown prince of crime in Gotham. Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix. I know what you're thinking. But ETEP, you're forgetting Jared Leto. No, I'm not forgetting him. I'm omitting him because he's shit as Hot Topic Joker and was only good on screen in character once in that drawn-out, bloated piece of shit called Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that was in a post-credit sequence that we'll mercifully never see expanded upon because Warner Brothers has all but canceled everything about the abortion that was the Snyderverse. So in the shallow end of the Joker pool, we've got retarded Marquise, pronounced Marcus because he's fucking stupid, and Hot Topic or Joker Jared Leto. Gun to my head, I'd have to pick Leto as not the worst iteration of the character on screen, because anyone under Caroline Dries' employ was hired based on melanin or pronouns, which means they're ultimately too simple-minded to adapt a regular version of the Joker, let alone a version that resembles a mediocre rapper on BET in 1995 who was designed by a white lesbian. So Black Joker is exactly what his name says he is, a fucking joke, and a poorly written one at that. Back to our lesbian triad in the Batcave, searching for the location of Pamela Isley, aka Poison Ivy. I don't know why I keep saying it, like you guys don't know who the fuck Poison Ivy is. And Montoya immediately figures out that she's been stashed by Batman around the Gotham City Dam. Wrong!
Stupid! You're so stupid!
And we go to a flashback of our lesbians in the midst of a breakup, complete with dialogue written by 6th graders in crayon, and then we get, of course,
The lesbian!
and the moment Montoya injected Isley with the serum from Batman. And as we flash back to the present, we figure out exactly what the stupid tree is doing in the Batcave, and you'll never guess who figures it out because she's super duper smartsy. Ryan, that's who, you fucking racist.
You've got to do better.
Montoya tells Sophie that she knows that Pamela is down there. She can feel her.
That's what she said.
As Ryan dons the bat suit, Sophie gets a phone call and a fraud alert from her credit card. That'll teach her to go on OnlyFans. And Ryan uses her bat vision sonar to pick up Isley's heartbeat in the bowels of a tunnel of the Batcave. So it's a race against time to find her and save Mary before she fucks Black Joker. As we cut back upstairs, she's doing her best to make his punchline stand at attention on the dance floor. All things being equal, Nicole Kang is absolutely beautiful. It still doesn't make up for her horrible acting and the fact that her character Mary is an absolutely self-centered narcissistic bitch, though. Black Joker wants to know why she's there and where's Wilder, for someone who's about to get some.
Me love you long time.
He seems a little too interested in his sister. It's borderline incestuous. Mary calls him out on it, and Mary tells him Ryan is ignoring him because she wants to fix Mary, and then she goes into painstaking detail and notices Cuck Fox by the side of the dance floor. She shoves something down Black Joker's pants and leaves him with blue balls. In the tunnel, the lesbians 3 find Pamela entombed in vines and cut back to the party, and Black Joker, who I didn't mention, is sporting a ridiculous shitlock man bun on top of his retarded head. It just makes me say,
Fuck that puto!
A little bit louder. He tells Luke Fox he knows he's Cuckwing and asks where he keeps the suit and if he plugs it in like a Tesla. Then calls 2 of his hulking security guards over. Sophie figures out that Alice is the one using her credit card and just fucking bails, leaving Montoya to wait for her scorned and betrayed psychopathic half-plant lesbian ex to reanimate. Mary is attempting to leave as she doesn't feel like partying anymore and can't because the elevators are down and elects to take the stairs, saying, "That's better for my calvesies anyway." Alice is eating cheesecake in her hotel room, and Sophie comes in and Alice tells her Renee has been lying to her about Pamela and Alice can prove it. Ryan catches up with Mary on the roof and attempts to inject Mary with the serum. Mary then rattles off some science gibberish and sounds like Fauci saying, "Trust the science." And Black Joker shows up and tells Batwoman that he knows that she's his sister. Oh, and he's got a gun to Cuck Fox's head, but who cares? The show would be better if they just killed him off instead of seeing him constantly emasculated by every female on the show that weighs 100 pounds. So Ryan uses the fucking serum that they were supposed to use to save Mary on the Black Joker. The second Ryan used that serum on Black Joker to freeze him in an attempt to save him, she proved what Mary said right. Ryan cares more about a brother she just met than Mary, who has been there for her every step of the way, and this just proves how much of a narcissistic, selfish, self-centered cow Ryan is. Mary escapes back to her hotel room and sees Alice and tells her that Ryan chose Black Joker over her. And Mary then proceeds to whine that she just wants Ryan to see her as so powerful and fierce. And Alice refers to the vision she's been having and mentions wanting to walk in on Sophie in the shower.
The lesbian!
But Alice instead tells Mary she hasn't had any delusions since she became Asian Ivy, and that means that she is super duper powerful. So they embrace. Alice kisses her stepsister deeply, and they...
Oh, we're scissoring!
Oh, sorry, I forgot this was the CW, not Pornhub. So they have feelings for the moment, and that's it. Back to Montoya alone in the Batcave tunnel with the husk of poison ivy, and suddenly a single tulip blooms from the vines around Pamela Isley, and Montoya kisses her, which is really disgusting, and her eyes open suddenly.
Oh, what the fuck ever!
Cut away, we see Sophie in Montoya's office, breaking into the very file cabinet Alice told her about, and says, "Oh my Godsies!" Calls Cuck Fox and tells him and Black Woman that Renee has the Joker's joy buzzer. Yes, the same joy buzzer that the Joker used to give Marquise, pronounced Marcus because he's fucking stupid, aka Black Joker, and all she wanted was Pamela back because she's her soulmate. Ryan and Cuck have Black Joker at the abortion clinic, and for some reason, they're trying to keep this fucking damaged piece of shit alive, which makes no sense because he's trash. He wants to kill everybody, but hey, Ryan just met him and oh my God, he's my brother, so I gotta keep him alive.
You serious?
And one last shot pans down to the tunnel where they found Pamela in the Batcave, entombed in the vines. And lo and behold, what do you know? The two lesbicans have disappeared. That, my friends, is where we mercifully end this week's fucking mind-numbing shit show of bad dialogue, horrible writing, piss-poor acting, bad direction, horrible costumes, bad set pieces.
2 hours later.
So my takeaways from this episode are that Mary wants fucking attention. And dick. Alice wants to.
Yeah, Caesar!
Sophie. Montoya is a dendrophiliac. Ryan is just a plain old idiot. Luke is literally worthless. And Black Joker is now a piece of dehydrated meat, kind of like beef jerky, but with a man bun. Also, the original Joker, Cesar Romero, was Cuban, so the CW's idea that having Marquise, pronounced Marcus because he's a motherfucking retard, play the JOC, or Joker of Color, was so super stunning and bravesies and so original. Is nothing but a pathetic virtue signaling facade, much like everything else that Caroline Dries and her merry band of blue checkmark fucking ass clowns do. Oh, and Caroline? Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Boom!